From the AACI studios in downtown Topio, Jerusalem, it's Louis Live. Now here's your host, me, Ari Louis. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Hope everyone's staying safe in this hot night in Jerusalem. I don't want to waste any time. We've got some great guests tonight. We're going to get right to our first guest. This man has written over 20 books about the Israeli-Arab conflict, probably the most famous book, Myths and Facts, in 2001, A Guide to the Arab-Israeli Conflict. It's a true honor to have Dr. Mitchell Barr. Doctor, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks.
Thank you again so much for being on the air with us here at Louis Live. And there's a lot of questions I want to get to right away. But first, got to get to the Myths and Facts book because that book has taken on a life of its own. It's been published in many different languages. And some have even said Alan Dershowitz pretty much could be sued for plagiarizing your book, more or less, with his book, of course, The Case for Israel. When you started to write that book, did you think it would be this world phenomenon, or you just had a certain energy to put the book out to clear out some of the issues with the Arab-Israeli conflict?
Well, to be honest about it, the book actually preceded me. It was first written back in the early 50s or the late 50s, early 60s by the founder of AIPAC, and for many years was a staple of AIPAC's educational toolbox. And in about 2001, AIPAC had decided not to publish it anymore, and we took it over at the American-Israeli Cooperative Enterprise, and we're just now finishing up a new 2010 edition. And over the years, it's become the Bible for pro-Israel advocacy.
Absolutely. I certainly remember, like I told you before in the pre-interview, I first got to see you speak in person back in 2002 at Ojai in the Santa Barbara area, the great Israel conferences that are throughout college campuses, and like you mentioned, certainly it is the Bible throughout campus. When you go and speak at different college campuses, are you looking to put out a certain message that you think that the average college student doesn't know, or at that point, since they're already heavily involved with Israel advocacy, are you looking to reaffirm some of their beliefs that have already been enhanced throughout their studies?
Well, before I answer that, let me just remind people you can read Myths and Facts online at the Jewish Virtual Library publications, and you can also sign up on our site for a weekly Myth and Fact that we send out during the year. As far as what I try to impart when I go to campus, I think I don't have a specific partisan line. We're nonpartisan, but what we want students to try to understand is that they need to have a basic understanding of the political history of the State of Israel in order for them to form their own opinions about current issues and to be able to discuss those controversial issues that come up every day in the media and in classrooms. And so I want them to try to learn the basics and to learn how to think critically about what they hear and read about the Middle East.
You know, I want to ask you, this is kind of a hardball question. This is generally a sports show. We've classed things up, of course, with you being on here, Doctor, but I want to ask you somewhat of a tough question about advocacy. I've lived in Israel for a few years now. I came after Army age pretty much. I moved here at 26, and I know that Israel most of the time wants to do the right thing, or actually all the time they want to do the right thing, but sometimes there are stories you hear, and I've never seen any proof or anything like that, but you hear stories of bad things happening in the Army, human rights violations, these type of things. When a Jewish kid in college hears that being thrown at him, or even past college, what is your response? What is the response that everyone should give to those people making those accusations?
Well, I think it's all about context. We who do not work for the government of Israel are not obligated to defend everything that Israel does, because Israel's not perfect. It does make mistakes sometimes, and often tragic things happen during war, as we've seen in all of America's wars and every other country's war. So there are times when things happen that Israel has to answer for, and the thing that I think most Israelis and friends of Israel take pride in is that when mistakes are made, they're investigated, and typically people who make them are asked to pay for those mistakes. So I don't expect people to ignore things that happen or to try to whitewash them. I simply try to instill in advocates the idea that you need to put these things in context and to be able to explain what the situation is that led to these problematic instances. And you don't have to brush them under the rug. But if you understand that these are usually anomalies and that Israel does everything in its power to avoid harming innocent civilians or committing any kind of human rights violations, then you understand that when they do happen, they need to be taken care of.
Absolutely, amen to that. And again, I'm pro-Zionist as much as anyone, but if anyone in Israel is committing a crime or doing a tragedy, they should be punished to the full extent of law, just like anyone else. I certainly agree with that. And I want to ask you an American political question, because you worked with former President George H.W. Bush, and in 1991, after the Gulf War, his approval rating was sky high, about 90%. Then a year later, loses the election. The current president right now, Obama, is suffering with his approval rating. Do you think he'll be able to turn this around and get a second term next year?
Well, there's a lot of variables that go into whether a president's going to be reelected. Typically, the most important thing is the state of the economy. And as I'm sure all of your listeners know, the economy in the United States is in some fairly serious trouble. And
right.
By purely economic measures, the president is in very serious trouble for reelection. But that's not the only thing. The fact that the United States is now fighting in 3 different wars, the fact that there are a lot of other issues that are becoming more and more of concern to Americans, the issue for American Jews and Friends of Israel of the Obama administration's policy toward Israel is a factor. But another critical issue is who are the opponents going to be. And unless there is a very strong Republican candidate, it will be very difficult to defeat Obama, even if the conditions remain very, very difficult here.
Okay, so definitely keep an eye on that. It's interesting because a lot of people a few years ago in the United States, if you would have told them that in some ways you would have a better economic outlook living in Israel than America, they would have laughed at you. And then for many people, that, of course, is a situation right now. Now, in some of the research for this interview, I've noticed that you've been obviously on many different outlets. Now, of course, Israel Sports Radio, so we're very happy to have you as well. But Fox News, MSNBC, and Al Jazeera. I got to hear this story. What was the story about you being on Al Jazeera? How did that work?
Well, Al Jazeera does interview people who have points of view different from what's typically on Al Jazeera, which tends to be very one-sided and anti-Israel. But a number of Israelis and others who are more sympathetic toward Israel have appeared on there. So the idea of at least trying to reach that audience with some truth appealed to me. On the other hand, my wife was petrified by the idea and followed me down to the studio, fearing something untoward would happen to me, but of course nothing did.
Now, Al Jazeera, when you did that interview, was that their studio is in Israel? Or where was this?
No, they have a studio that they can use here in Washington, D.C.,
okay.
So spoke to them. It's a little strange experience when you're speaking in English and the person speaking to you is asking you a question that's been translated into English, but the host is speaking in Arabic in Doha, and the competing guest is speaking Arabic out of Amman. It's a bit of a peculiar experience, but that one of those interviews had to do with Jimmy Carter's book, where I was explaining to the audience the various problems with Jimmy Carter's views on the Middle East.
Right, and that book, which I believe was a few years ago, where it talked about how Israel was apartheid, and you've been very, very adamant that it's not. There's a great video via the Jewish Library about that. So just in case, of course, most of my audience is pretty pro-Israel, but just in case someone out there thinks Israel is an apartheid state, can you please explain to them why it is not?
Well, I don't think this two words should be ever used in the same sentence. The reality is, under apartheid in South Africa, it was the minority of the population, the majority of the population that was denied all of its rights by the minority, and that it was basically a racist system from literally cradle to grave, where blacks were denied rights in voting and employment and in virtually every aspect of life. In Israel, you have Israeli Arab citizens and other minorities all have equal rights under the law. You have Israeli Arabs serving in the Israeli Supreme Court, in the Foreign Ministry, in the Knesset, in virtually all forms of life in Israel. And so there's really no comparison between the treatment of Israeli Arabs enjoying freedom, all the freedoms that we take for granted in the United States, and blacks who lived in South Africa who enjoyed almost none of those freedoms.
And in Jimmy Carter's book, one of the things I was surprised about, it wasn't necessarily that Jimmy Carter was the most pro-Israel president that we ever had, but I never recall him being anti-Israel, especially in a vehement form. What do you think happened after his career when he stopped being president and just continually moved over to that direction?
Well, Carter was very unsympathetic to Israel for most of the time he was president, but people ask me what's the explanation for his hostility to Israel, and I think there are a variety of explanations. One is he tends to confuse his initials with someone else with the same initials, and secondly, he never forgave Menachem Begin for what he thought was lying to him about agreeing to freeze settlements during the Camp David negotiations. In fact, the historical record's very clear that Begin agreed to do it for 3 months, and Carter thought it was for longer, and Carter's never forgiven him for that. A third, even more bizarre reason that people have told me is that Carter never got over the fact that when Yitzhak Rabin came to visit, and Carter asked him if he'd like to say goodnight to his daughter Amy, and Rabin said no. He was so offended by it that he hasn't quite gotten over that. And finally, the fact that the Jewish vote abandoned him after being very supportive of his election in 1976. He got the lowest Jewish vote total, I believe, in history for a Democrat, and was defeated by Ronald Reagan, who got one of the highest Jewish votes, and he's never forgiven the Jews for their role in defeating him for re-election.
So he's punished us ever since. And you bring up an interesting point, because many times in politics we hear a lot of crazy stories of certain votes not going certain ways because of tiny little things, like you mentioned that Amy was not said goodnight to by Yitzhak Rabin. Tell us some story that we haven't heard about, or a very famous one that the audience should know of something very small a politician didn't do that had long-lasting effects.
I'm not sure if I could think of one of those off the top of my head, but I think that one of the things that I talk a lot about in my latest book, The Arab Lobby, is the way that the Arab lobby has manipulated things behind the scenes. So to give you just one example of what's happening right now and the way the Arab lobby works, you may have read that the Saudis have been pumping more oil, in fact more than the OPEC quota has allowed. And at the same time, they've been complaining a lot about the Obama administration's policies and making a lot of noise about how unhappy they are with the United States. But in fact, what's really going on here is that the Saudis understand that the key to their survival is support from the United States. And so they have to keep the United States happy so that the United States will sell them the latest arms package, a $30 billion arms sale that is the biggest in U.S. history that Obama agreed to with the Saudis. And in exchange for that, the Saudis are doing what they can to try to keep the price of oil low. And they're doing that in part to send a message to Obama, which says, look, if the economy continues to go down the toilet, your chances of re-election are very poor. We're going to try to keep the price of oil down so the economy doesn't get any worse, so that you can get reelected, and all we really want from you is to keep quiet about this democracy stuff. You can talk about democracy in Egypt or Libya or Syria, but just don't mention it when it comes to Saudi Arabia. And in fact, the one country that Obama didn't mention when he talked about the need for democracy all over the Arab world was Saudi Arabia. So this is the kind of way the Arab lobby has been able to manipulate presidents for the last 70 years and to have an impact on U.S. Middle East policy.
Now, another influential group, J Street, actually their offices are right down the street from where I am right now. It's getting very popular among college students. What is your opinion of J Street?
Well, I think J Street, first of all, is not very popular. They have very little support in the United States. They have very little support among college students. They, I think, are part of the Arab lobby. I talk about in the book in the sense that they have sided typically with the anti-Israel and pro-Arab groups against Israel in things such as the Goldstone Report, in opposing sanctions on Iran, in calling for the UN to vote that settlements are illegal. You know, a whole series of activities which are contrary to the interests of the people of the State of Israel. And basically they take the same position as many State Department Arabists who think they know what's best for Israel from America, and who believe that Israelis are either too stupid, too immature, or too politically constrained to do what's good for themselves, and they, 6,000 miles away, know better and want the United States to force Israel to do what's good for itself.
Right. Absolutely right. When you're farther away, I guess people think they know more. That's what it seems like a lot of times. I want to ask you about the Danny Ayalon video. That, of course, talk about Judea's place in Samaria. What is your thoughts about that video?
The which video? I'm sorry?
The Danny Ayalon video?
Oh, the Danny Ayalon video.
Yes.
Well, I think that the main thing is to, again, as I said when you asked me about what I try to communicate to students about myths and facts, is that people need to have a basic understanding of the politics and the history that we're dealing with. And that whether you think that Israel should withdraw from some or all of the West Bank or not, or whether you think occupation is good or not, you have to be clear about what the facts are. And the truth is that the territory of Judea and Samaria is disputed territory, where Israel has just as good a claim as the Palestinians do. And it's simply a historical fact that it's not occupied. It was occupied for 19 years by the Jordanians, but now it's simply disputed territory, and it's up to the people of Israel to decide in negotiations with the Palestinians how much, if any, of that territory should be turned over for a Palestinian state.
Dr. Barr, one last question before we let you go. I want you to talk about, the Jewish Virtual Library. It's really excellent. It has all the information that anyone can want on a lot of different topics, not just Israel-Arab relations. So please give a plug for that. And again, you mentioned your latest book, The Arab Lobby. Please plug both those so my audience can check those things out.
Well, please visit jewishvirtuallibrary.org. Everything you want to know about anything from anti-Semitism to Zionism. We do have myths and facts there, and the new edition will be coming out soon. You can sign up for our weekly mailing list that has myths and facts and some other things from time to time. And my new book is available through Amazon and other book dealers. It's The Arab Lobby, and it's a story that very few people know about how for the last 70 years the interests in the Arab world have blackmailed the United States to try to undermine the state of Israel while at the same time engaging in policies toward the Arab world that have undermined American values, interests, and security.
Well, there you go. Everyone should check out both of those, the Jewish Virtual Library and the Arab Lobby, written by Dr. Mitchell Bard. Dr. Bard, when I saw you speak in 2002 at Ojai, I didn't think 9 years later you'd be on my show, but hey, dreams do happen. So thanks so much for making that come true and being on tonight on Louis Live.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Be well, Dr. Bard. Have a good day.
All right.
Good day. It's a good day over there in the United States. Good night over here. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, the lacrosse guys after this.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize the trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in Fit. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Chani is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Chani can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Chani has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email chani@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chanisgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
We're back here on Louis Live, and two gentlemen have legs, that's why they play lacrosse. And they're going to talk about lacrosse right now, Louis Live. Charles, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having
Absolutely. us. So, I'm sure you guys like that intro. So, go ahead, let's start. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You told me you had a radio show also? Talk about that.
Yeah, I was 18 in college at 3 in the morning that I think 3 people listened to at one time. My name's Ari Louis from Westchester, New York.
Well, right now, because our website's down, that's 3 more people listening to us, so you got to feel pretty confident about that, Zachary. How long have you been playing lacrosse here in Israel?
I'd say probably a matter of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, if that. And that's about it. Scott Neese, who is the president of the federation, came in wanting to start a program, and he took any willing participants. So in a matter of time, we grouped a good group of people together, and we've been going from there.
Yeah, Scott, of course, I want to thank you a lot for setting up this whole interview here. Now, talk about lacrosse before you got to Israel. You played, obviously, in America. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Start there. Introduce yourself and talk about your lacrosse career in the United States.
Max Wiesenberg. I'm from Long Island, New York. I've been playing this sport since I was 8 years old. So 13 years now. It's been a big part of my life. I currently play Division I at Bryant University.
So are you on vacation now here in Israel?
Well, when I saw that they got recognized nationally, I got in touch with Scott, and he needed all the help he could. And I thought, it was my first time out here. I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. Come here, help out, and be a part of this.
But then now in the fall, are you going to be here in Israel, or do you go back to the States?
I got to go back to one more year of my senior year of college, so I'll be back in the States for the fall.
Okay, now I want to ask you about this because you talked about that it's somewhat new on the scene. How new is lacrosse to Israel?
It is as new as it could get. I mean, we're out here looking for whoever wants to play. We're walking around with our sticks to the streets. It's foreign to mostly everyone. But, we get a lot of weird looks carrying around these sticks, but a lot of interest. It seems that a lot of the young kids, even the adults, seem interested. They stop and they ask about it.
Now, Zach, you were mentioning that, again, you've been here for 3 weeks. Talk about your lacrosse experience in the States.
Well, lacrosse has been here for 3 weeks. I've been here for 2 years. And my experience in the States is very minimal. I played amongst friends where it was a big sport when I was 14. Hadn't touched the stick since. I played soccer in college. And truthfully, that was about it. And then I saw the opportunity to play with 2 friends of mine from school, Jesse Kane and Matt Markman, who Matt will play in the game that we have Saturday night. And Jesse, when he comes back, will be playing with the team all the way through.
As you like those producing skills, we have a very special person. You brought up his name, so I figured I'd get him on the phone. Hey, Matty, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you're on the air. Matt, I was asking these gentlemen here about their lacrosse career before they got to Israel. Tell us about yours. What did you do before you came to the Holy Land?
Well, I started, are you talking lacrosse-wise?
Lacrosse-wise, yes.
I started playing lacrosse in about 5th grade in Boulder, Colorado. My 5th grade soccer coach was a high school lacrosse player, and we all ended up getting lacrosse sticks and playing lacrosse for half a soccer practice. And from there, I just played on through middle school and high school, and went on to play Division III lacrosse at Oberlin College in Ohio. And, one of the happiest days of my year thus far was finding out lacrosse was coming to Israel, and joining up and trying to get it going.
Gentlemen, I want to ask you this because my knowledge of lacrosse tends to be of the great Jim Brown, who played lacrosse, of course. A lot of people say he's the greatest lacrosse player ever. Were there certain lacrosse players that you looked up to or knew about, or someone that you respect in the game of lacrosse?
In all honesty, I've played lacrosse all my life. I'm not too knowledgeable about individual players. I play defense, and, it's kind of just like on defense, it's all about the team and all about working as a unit. So, I can't really say that I have a lacrosse icon I look up to at all, actually.
What about you, Zach?
Mine would be my friend's father, Jeff Fritz, who he actually played for the U.S. national team and was inducted into the Hall of Fame for the U.S. lacrosse not too long ago.
Wow. Okay, and Max?
I would have to say the Powell brothers, who they all attended Syracuse University, and when they started playing, they just helped the game evolve and took it to the next level.
See, he looks like a real lacrosse expert. Everything about him, it means a lot to him. He's played since, you said, 8 years old, right?
It's been 13 years. I love it.
All right, so now this question actually is great for our caller because you also play football, Matt Markman. Talk about the difference between tackle football and lacrosse.
Well, I'm actually just getting off the football field right now from practice, and the difference in lacrosse and football. Lacrosse is a perfect combination of finesse and physicality. Football is real stop and go. It's a lot of 0 to 100%, just kind of run into each other, hit hard. You got to hit the other guy harder and faster than he's going to hit you. In lacrosse, there's a lot of finesse, a lot of movement. The game for me is just it flows a lot better. It fits with my personality. I think in football, it's all about separating the guy from the ball now. And in lacrosse, it's the same, but you do it through more skill moves. You gotta poke his stick with your stick. You gotta then pump him out of the way. It's that's how I see it.
And what about you guys? I'm sure you guys have played sports outside lacrosse. Go ahead, Zach. Go first talk about that.
I played soccer my whole life. I played up through school at Oberlin as well. And for me, lacrosse, it's the sport for athletes. It's strength, it's stamina, it's finesse. It's a beautiful game to watch visually and to play physically because you have to be at peak condition at all times.
And great teamwork as well, I'm sure.
Oh, of course. That's natural.
Max, what about you? Other sports you played in lacrosse?
I was a basketball player my whole life as well, and I think lacrosse is similar in ways, such as, like the pick and roll, two-man game, things like that. The dodging, as we say in lacrosse, like making a move is very similar to, say, a crossover. And I took a lot of what I've learned from basketball and applied it to lacrosse. And
basically, the most important question I'll probably ask you the entire night is lacrosse in Israel co-ed?
Lacrosse in Israel is not co-ed, but we're doing both the guys and the girls program. So the guys and the girls have very different rules when it comes to lacrosse, so we're working simultaneously to build the girls team as well as the guys team. So, right now, co-ed at practices, you're welcome, guys and girls. Please come out and join us, and we can, the basic game, the throwing and catching and the movement, and there's a lot of similarities, but there's less hitting in girls lacrosse, and so that when it comes down to the actual games, we can't play at the same time, but we are building both programs simultaneously.
Did you guys want it to be co-ed, or would that just take away from focus?
It would be very difficult to hit a girl as hard as we're going to hit each other come Saturday night.
Right, now, by the way, great plug. You've obviously done this before. Saturday night, lacrosse, talk about when, where, how much, all that good stuff.
Well, Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, 9 o'clock at Kraft Stadium. It's totally free and BYOB. And really, it's just going to be a good time. It's going to be a nice little spectacle, both a game as well as an event, and we're looking forward to it.
Now, who is playing against who in this game?
It'll be Tel Aviv Lacrosse Club versus Jerusalem Lacrosse Club.
Okay.
And we're playing for, I guess it's technically the national title, the Zimmerman Cup.
Wow. Oh, wow. I didn't realize. I thought this was kind of a friendly game. So, and you guys are assuming all three of you are on the Jerusalem squad?
No. Max and I are going to play for Tel Aviv, and Matt will play for Jerusalem.
Wow. Oh, goodness gracious. Any trash talk you want to say? Go ahead, Mr. Markman.
No, I'm just saying it's,
He's nervous.
The event on Saturday, too, it's all about, starting to build a community here. We want players, we want fans, and, like they said, lacrosse is a team sport, but there's really a good community that always sprouts up around lacrosse fields, lacrosse teams, lacrosse people, so we're really excited about having that on the ground here in Israel.
Are you guys upset that the game is in Jerusalem and not in your backyard in Tel Aviv?
Truthfully, I don't care as long as people come. But there's been a lot of friendly banter between a lot of us who live here and are going to play against each other, including one of my friends, Ben Levine, and also Matt himself. And Ben has openly stated that all he's going to do is try to hit me and crush me all game. So tonight I lay down the challenge to Ben Levine. I will hit you back, and I promise it'll be a lot harder than the way you hit me.
And again, the show is not live, but hopefully we'll get it to Ben tomorrow, so we'll have 2 days to think about it before mostly Shabbat. Do you guys live in Jerusalem but play for the Tel Aviv, or where do you guys live?
I live back at home in the States. I'm here.
I'm sorry. I asked that. What am I thinking? That slipped out. But where do you live, my friend?
I live in Tel Aviv. I lived in Jerusalem for 6 months, but eventually just had to go where the beach was.
And Mr. Barkman, we know, of course, your Jerusalem loyalty. So the game will take place. I'm going to ask a real Amaretz type of question. What is a typical score of a lacrosse game?
Anything between 8 to 14 to another number.
This game should be pretty high scoring in the teens, both sides.
Mr. Markman, do you have a prediction of the score?
I'm going to say the score is going to be Jerusalem 22, Tel Aviv 17.
Okay, at least you predict this team is going to win, and you guys have a prediction of the score?
I think it'll be Max 15, Jerusalem 20, Tel Aviv 8.
It's like that the Bears commercial with Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka 7, 49ers 3. Mr. Markman, how do you feel about that? He said Max is going to defeat your whole team. What do you think?
Well, it just depends where Max ends up playing. But, one player...
Wait, what's that supposed to be?
The fight for me is on, and I'm open to any, so where I'm looking for any,
offers.
Offers, yeah.
Are there any bounties on Max? Is that what I'm hearing?
If he switches colors, I will knock him out.
No, I mean, Ari, the greatest thing about this game is, we brought in some good people from the States to ref it, to coach, to play. And, we're going to divide up the talent between the two teams. And, we're going to have the homegrown guys here in Israel, and then the guys who've come to join us and help make this game fun and help build the sport. We're going to divide them up, and it's going to be a good game. So wherever Max ends up, I'm going to be happy to play against him. I'm going to be happy to play with him.
Hold on, good referees. What does that mean? Are they friends of yours?
No, I mean, a good referee is kind of an oxymoron, I guess.
Oh, Matt, I'm going to tell Neil that one.
Hopefully none of the referees will be hearing this.
Yeah, hopefully they won't hear this before the game, but...
I'll let them know how you feel about them, don't worry.
So I want to clarify, you're saying it depends where Max plays. I understand. I thought you were playing for Tel Aviv.
That's what I was told. So it's
Mr.
already
Markman,
decided.
do you have other information we don't know about?
No, I guess not. I guess I am out of the loop.
All right, he was trying to steal something, sneak something there.
No, but Matt's right. We flew, or the referees came at their own expense from California.
Wow.
To come. They're
just to ref the game.
They're recognized officials. One of them has experience for 39 years.
Wow.
And the other one's it's a young Jewish kid who really wants to be part of this. And kol hakavod. It's very nice to have people all the way across, halfway around the world, wanting to see this succeed.
Absolutely. Wow, kol hakavod to them. Let's talk about the positions that all three of you gentlemen play. We'll start with Zach. What position you play on the field?
Position where I get to hit people or score goals. So either midfield or attack.
All right. And Max, go ahead.
I'm a midfielder my whole life.
Midfielder, all right. And Mr. Markman?
I am a long stick midfielder, which means I'm a defensive midfielder. So I run onto the field when we're playing defense and run off when we're playing offense. In this game, I'll probably end up playing some close defense, just regular defense. All
right, and how many players are there per squad total, and how many play on the field? Again, I got to ask these questions. It's for the other. It's not for me. It's for other people.
Well, on the field, usually it's 10 on 10 plus a goalie on each side, so that's 11. And I'm not sure as far as what the rosters look like now, official, but I think we got about approximately 20 on each side right now.
20 side, okay. And now, are there different leagues where there's a different amount of players? Because, for example, the tackle league, which Matthew Mark is part of, is 8 on 8, and in the pros is 11 on 11. So is it different in lacrosse at all?
We're going to be playing, I think, 8 players on a side because of the size of the field. But we hopefully are looking to play in bigger stadiums in a year or two, and that'll help us bring the actual game of lacrosse to Israel proper.
All right, guys. Mr. Markman, can you hold on? We're going to take a commercial break. Will we be able to stay through the break?
Yeah, I can stay through the break.
Okay, great. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back on Louis Live after this. Are you having computer issues? You just got to try these guys. Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. All of Jerusalem is talking about them. They're super experienced, efficient, reliable, and honest. Their lead technician has over 20 years experience and holds a BS in computer science from a top American university. Mickey from Macavia says, I won't let anybody touch my computers except for Tiger. So call Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. Believe me, you'll be happy that you did. Ruben from Baca says, I've had many technicians in the past, and these guys are some of the best I've seen. Laptops, desktops, netbooks, Macintoshes, iPods, iPhones. All hardware and software problems, advice, and instruction. The next time you need a very experienced and honest computer technician, call Tiger Computer Services at 050-708-1599. Mention Israel Sports Radio for a 15% discount for all new customers. Are you living in the Tel Aviv area and looking to achieve those fitness goals that seem out of reach? If so, personal trainer Leon Kessler is just one call away. Leon will teach, coach, advise, supervise, and support you so that you are able to accomplish your fitness goals. One call to 050-792-2434 will put your goals in reach. That's 050-792-2434, or click on the Leon Kessler banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and see what Leon can do for you.
Midreshet Devora, a Dati Leumi post-high school program which educates minds and broadens horizons. Located in Baca, the lovely Jerusalem neighborhood provides an excellent background and setting for a tremendous education. Our students learn, love, and feel the land of Israel and get tools which will last them a lifetime. Generous scholarships are available. Please contact us at midreshetdevora.org. Call us from Israel at 052-534-6260 or from North America at 718-593-4162. Midreshet Devora, we're the program you've been waiting for.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music, and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Okay, back here on Louis Live in our final segment here with the lacrosse guys, Max Zach and Matthew Markin on the telephone. Now, let's get to the coach. We need a... Hey, Matthew Markin, are you stealing stuff again?
No, I didn't hurt myself.
No, are you stealing stuff?
Oh, no, it's just...
Sounds like you're running for the cops back there.
No, ambulance.
The candy bar is not worth it. Put it down. Return it. Okay. All right, let's talk about the coach here, William Baroza. He's the head coach, BFD, as I've been told. He's going to be head coach of the 2014 Men's World Championship lacrosse team. Talk about the World Championships in 2014. Go ahead, Max.
Well, the World Championships right now, it's great to be recognized and to go there and compete with the top countries. The U.S. is usually the team to beat. Although they lost, they won the last recent World Games, but prior to that, Canada, who's also powerhouse. And then hopefully, with the talent I heard that we're recruiting and the way it looks is we're going to be able to compete for gold, which is the idea. We're going in there. They're going to be held in Denver in 2014. And just looking forward to it. I think we're going to be able to go there and compete.
Coach Baroza looks very impressive just reading his biography here. He is in the Hall of Fame for lacrosse and in the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, and he was a three-time member of the Team USA. He won gold as a goaltender. So how helpful has he been to you guys in improving your craft of the game of lacrosse?
Well, thus far, we're waiting for Coach Baroza to come into the country. And
okay.
He comes in, I believe, either tomorrow or on Friday morning. And
how much are you looking forward to him helping you? How about that?
A lot. I think it's going to be nice to have someone who's very seasoned and experienced, and he's said openly to Scott Neese that he's here to win. He's not here for second or third. He's here to take a team to a gold medal in a world championship.
Right, and that's obviously what you want. This guy certainly has proven himself. Talk about, now, don't be shy because Scott's the one who set up this interview, but talk about Scott Neese's role in all of this and how helpful he's been, if at all. You can be honest.
No, Scott came in. I met Scott for the first time about, I think, a month ago, and he came in with a lot of energy, a lot of high-reaching goals, and he's really the guy who's made this all possible.
Yep.
So it's pretty amazing what he's been able to put together in such a short time. The fact that we're getting a game like this going on Saturday, we have a lot of blossoming interest in the sport, and I really need to send my thanks out to him for everything he's doing. It's great to have someone like him on our side. I'm, fully confident in what he's done so far and what he's going to do in the future. So, on his shoulders, I think we got good things ahead of us.
Yeah, we also had Scott on our program a few months ago to Go Sports Bar, that remote. He was great there. Also, our thanks to Jess Sagoskin. Both Jess and Scott set up this interview. Go ahead, you guys, about your thoughts about Scott.
Scott, I met like Matt a month ago, and he works thankless hours in multiple positions with the most energy in the world and truly believes that this game can grow here. He's young, he's 26, and he's already done and accomplished so much in his off-field lacrosse career. And here he is taking now a big stride by starting an entire national program from scratch within a month or two, getting all the funding to be able to put on an event like this Saturday night at Kraft Stadium at 9 o'clock, free entry.
Again, he's done this before. Max, your thoughts about Scott?
I actually met Scott yesterday in person for the first time. We've talked through email and on the phone, and I could just really tell in his voice how passionate he was about the sport and about what he's doing here. And it's great to have someone, he has he's so well connected in the lacrosse world back at home. And that helps because I know, talking to him, he's got a lot of great players at home, and for me in the States, that are already committed to playing for the national team. And then I show up here and I see all the talent and hard work he's put into getting these guys together here, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my next question, start out with Matthew Markman, because Matthew again plays in the tackle league here. Talk about the comparison as far as how you'd like to see lacrosse grow, because you've seen the IFL grow in a certain way, and some of the things they should try to do like the IFL, and some of the things they should try to avoid doing what the IFL did.
I mean, the IFL has had amazing success at creating a grassroots program here. I mean, the amount of players we have in the IFL and the amount of fans and commitment, like if we can get a type of following like that, we're in good shape. In this great community. I think also, basically our goal is to compete internationally, and that's a big thing. We're looking at the same time as as the local guys are on here building the teams here in the ground. Scott's working hard, building the program internationally. I think that's a major goal he has in this program, is to put us on the international scene. He really believes that Israel can compete, put a team in the World Championships, and really make a name for Israel lacrosse. And, I think that in comparison to the IFL, we're still working on getting a national team out into the World Championships for football. And, I'm not as involved in the IFL organization, so I don't know where that stands. But, we're already going, we're going to Europe in the summer, and we're going to Denver in 2014. So, we're gonna be out there right away, and, you're gonna be hearing about us, and it's gonna be a good thing for the sport and a good thing for the country.
All right, now I want to bring up the name of Howard Borkin. Tell us who this gentleman is. We'll start first with Zach. Oh, you don't know that much about him?
He's our general manager.
And also general manager, he still is, right, Max? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
All right, excellent. All right, good. Howard Borkin, of course, the general manager, and we certainly want to thank him. I'll get the applause meter going in a few moments. Now, Zach, you talked about that. Of course, you live in Tel Aviv. What do you do outside of lacrosse? Do you work or at school? What do you do?
I own a coffee shop, actually, where I went to school, called the Slow Train Cafe in Oberlin, Ohio. And at the same time, I'm about to take over my family's business.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Wow, are you own a coffee shop?
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I'm taking over my family's business, which I'm looking forward to. But it'll require a lot of travel back and forth between Israel and the States, and while looking forward to it, I really don't feel comfortable leaving the country at the moment.
See, I feel the same way. In fact, this might bother you because you're a Tel Avivian, but I don't even like to leave Jerusalem. I get kind of the hives. All right. For Ted Boyce and Matthew Markman, will Big Mike be in attendance this Saturday night?
Will Big Mike?
Yeah, just because he's Big Mike and he could show up where he wants to show up, I guess. He's Big Mike.
I would love for Big Mike to come. I hope he's here, and shows up, I'm going to put a lacrosse stick in his hand and throw him out on the field. So
yeah, the audience likes that. We want Big Mike, obviously, a part of lacrosse. I don't know if they'll be able to move too well out there, but okay. So, wow, you got a coffee shop now. But you made Aliyah officially, right? Or
yeah, I made Aliyah 2 years ago. Basically, I started the shop with my best friend in college and was on a plane the next day.
But I'm a little confused because the shop was by where you went to school, so you run the shop from here, and the shop is...
Basically, I gave up my position in running the shop to my friend, so I'm kind of more of a silent partner.
Gotcha.
But it's nice to get a check in the mail every so often.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Do you, Max, are you going to be ambitious now like Zach and run your own business because he does?
Well, that's the idea. Hopefully, I could have that opportunity someday.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be good. Matthew Markman, what do you do for a living? We've known each other for years. I don't know what you do for a living.
Well, I live on the bank. I am a student, so I'm getting my master's degree in Islamic and Middle Eastern Studies at Hebrew University.
Very nice. Very nice.
So,
hey, we had Dr. Barnard earlier today. I'll try to get you that interview. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Dr. Mitchell Bart, of course, the author of Missing Facts. All right, gentlemen, again, the game, Motzei Shabbat. What are crowds usually like at lacrosse games?
The national championship for college this year, I had 18,000 people.
Whoa. Craft only seats about 1,000.
Yeah, maybe 300. But
well, seats, right? Standing, yes.
I think a healthy expectation is between 300 and 500 for this evening. But I would love to see the sidelines lined with people, and just learning and celebrating kind of the game and its introduction to Israel.
Yeah, that would be great. 3 to 500. Are any other media outside of Israel Sports Radio covering it that you know of? I'll be there.
There was an article in J-Post. We did an interview today with, I believe, Sport 1.
Okay.
And
there's also Sport 5, but
yeah, there's also like Sport 1 on.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought that was just okay. Very nice.
You see it sometimes when you watch some, soccer games late at night.
Right.
But I don't know. There's interest being generated, and the more press we have, the more interest there is, and that's part of the reason why our practices have been so public in Jerusalem and Gone Soccer. Tuesdays at 6 or 6:30. Matt can talk more about that. And in Tel Aviv on Chof Borgeshav at 6:30 on Tuesdays. And we're just taking anyone. For instance, today we had young Haredim playing, throwing balls around, and we had secular kids and it's a nice thing. It's been bringing people together from all sects of Israeli society. And
yeah, I was looking at this website here because not to judge, but you go through and you see Yochanan Katz. It looks pretty Haredi. Not that that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I hear your point that it's taking all aspects of Israeli society and all putting it together. That's obviously a huge part of the game, right?
Just like the football league, I think that's kind of our goal, is to bring that together, and we're looking for anyone. It doesn't matter. As long as you have an Israeli passport and you can play the game, we'll take you.
No illegal aliens? Or
if you want to be Thai and play for Israel, that's cool too. But I think it's what we want, is to bring everyone this game because we believe in it, and I know that Max and Matt and Scott, we all really believe in it and know it has the potential to grow here and be a big sport that Israel would be very successful at.
Absolutely. Now, first we'll let the Jerusalem guy give his plug. Matthew Markman, if they want to join the Jerusalem squad, how can they go about doing that?
Listen, we have a Facebook group, as with the Times, Jerusalem Lacrosse Club group. The website is also, I believe, I'm sorry, you have the website. You probably have that. If you can just give that, you can fill out a player form.
Yes, the website,
and,
of course.
You can get in contact. Also, we're out there every Wednesday night in Gone Soccer Park at 6 p.m. So, and also the best way to join up is we're going to be meeting at Kraft Field at 10 a.m. on Friday. We'll be there with pads, coaches, and refs 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday. And then come to the game Saturday night, 9 p.m., and, we'll go from there.
Matthew Markman, there's a picture over here on the lacrosse website wearing a shirt that said the Governor, California. So I just want to let you know that you're on the site. Website, of course, if you want to get on, israellacrosse.co.il. And, gentlemen, if they want to join the Tel Aviv squad, how can they go about doing that?
Every Tuesday, Chof Bogashav, we get together, throw a ball around, and more recently we've been moving, playing a game that we like to call Ultimate Lacrosse, which is a combination of Ultimate Frisbee and lacrosse.
Well, what's the difference?
You don't really hit each other, and you don't score goals. You kind of run across an end zone.
It's like kind of good practice for the...
It's great, and you're also running in sand. It's a great way to stay active and learn a new game.
Okay, so again, the game will be this Motzi Shabbat, Kraft Family Stadium at 9 p.m.?
Yes, sir, 9 p.m. Probably closer to 9:20, so you can come.
Jewish time, JST. So 9:20, whatever. Game is free to get in.
And BYOB.
BYOB. Obviously, if you need that to enjoy the game, but lacrosse sounds like so much fun, you might not need the beer, right?
It is, but it's always nice to
have beer, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely about that. So again, 300 to 500 people. So the earlier you get there, the better seat you'll get, because at some point you have to stand, as we all know from personal experience. Gentlemen, any last closing thoughts before we end the program?
Ben Levine, I'm coming for you.
Max, your last thoughts.
Just come out, support it. It'll be something special and something that it'll be cool to be a part of. The first game ever in Israel, and I'm excited for it.
Part of history. Great point there. Matthew Markman, your last thoughts.
Lacrosse is a great game with great people, and one of my favorite things about Israelis is how interested they are in new things. So, I always get comments on the stick, and people are really interested. I think it's a game that the country's really going to love. So, just come out, and, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some good skills and some good competition, and I'm really, really excited to watch the sport grow here and be a part of it.
Yeah, Matthew Markman, I was thinking, I haven't seen you in a long time. I think the last time was the Yom Ha'atzmaut barbecue about a year ago. Then I saw you on the field a few times. But have you cut your hair since then?
I haven't cut my hair, no. My girlfriend likes it long, so it's long for now.
Then that's it. There's no point of, who cares about impressing me, man? Gotta impress the lady. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for being on. That's the end of our show. And in addition to thanking the lacrosse guys, got to thank a huge thank you to Dr. Mitchell Bard. Check out his latest book, The Arab Lobby, the Invisible Alliance that Undermines America's Interest in the Middle East. Yes, it's a long title, but well worth it. And the Jewish Virtual Library, your information on anti-Semitism, Zionism, Jewish history, and all that good stuff. That's it. I'm Ari Louis. It's all right. God bless, and good night. Hey, thanks a lot, guys.